Hi, welcome to PreSonus Live. My name is Dominic Bazile, and today we're going to be talking about two new products from PreSonus. We're going to be talking about the Eris 4.5 studio monitors, as well as the new Temblor T10 active subwoofer. Now, the Eris 4.5 monitor is an extension of our current Eris line of monitors. It's a smaller, compact studio monitor, but it gives the same great performance and quality as our other Eris monitors. The Temblor T10 was originally designed to complement our Eris line of studio monitors, but we found that it also works very well with our higher-end Scepter line of monitors. So let's take a closer look at both of these products. First, we'll look at the Eris 4.5 monitor. You notice right here on the front that it's a two-way active speaker with a 4.5-inch low-frequency driver, and then also a 1-inch silk dome tweeter. Now, this is the same tweeter that's also available on our E8 and our E5 Eris monitor speakers as well. You'll also notice that there's a power switch right here on the front, very convenient, and also a volume knob on the front. We also have some other options here, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and turn the monitor around so we can see the back end. All right. What you notice first, you'll see a bass port here, and that bass port is tuned to about 70 hertz, so that's about the low-end spectrum frequency range that this monitor supports. And when you buy the Eris 4.5s, you're going to get them together as a pair. They're paired together because one of the monitors is actually an active box and the other is a passive box. So what that means is that in the active box, we actually have two 25-watt amps, and that's going to power, one 25-watt amp will power the active box itself, and then using speaker cable, which actually comes with the Eris 4.5s, you'll send that signal, the right signal, to the back of the passive box, and that's how that box is powered. All right, so looking further at the back of the Eris 4.5, looking at the input, you notice that we have two balanced TRS 1/4-inch inputs. This is where you would probably plug in your your audio interface or your mixer. And then also we have an unbalanced RCA input. So you have an option of either plugging in TRS 1/4-inch or RCA. And actually you can, the Eris 4.5 comes with a Y cable that has an 1/8-inch stereo plug on one end, and then it splits out to left and right RCA plugs on the other end. So you can actually plug this into your monitor and maybe perhaps plug this into a media device or an iPod, and then you can use the monitor in that respect. Or you can actually plug it directly into your computer. So also looking on the back side, you'll notice we have some other controls here. But first, before we go into that, let's turn the monitor around and we'll talk about the input and output options on the front side. So on the front side, we have an 1/8-inch jack for aux in, and the Eris monitor also comes with a line in cable that has 1/8-inch stereo on both ends, and that makes it very convenient to plug in your iPod if you want to monitor or reference a mix that maybe you have on your iPod or other media player or even a CD player. And you can plug that right in, and you can actually listen directly through the Eris 4.5s without having to disconnect from the back part from your audio interface or your mixer. You'll also notice that on the front side, there's also an 1/8-inch phone jack. So you can actually plug in your headphones directly to the Eris monitors on the front side. And what that'll do is that'll mute the speakers themselves. And so now your volume control located on the front will actually attenuate or increase the volume in your headphones. So very handy, very convenient. So the compact size and the convenience of the features of the Eris 4.5 not only makes it good for studio applications where you're using it with your audio interface or your mixer, but it also makes it easy for you to connect it to your computer sound card and maybe use it for non-audio applications like video editing or gaming, or even just for general computer usage. One great thing about the Eris 4.5 monitors is that for its price range, it actually offers some features that you would only find on larger size and more expensive monitors. And these features include acoustic tuning controls. So in that regard, you can use the acoustic tuning controls to adjust the sound of the Eris monitors to the room or the environment that you have them in. So let's go through some of those. So first you'll see two knobs. One is the mid. It's a variable knob to attenuate or increase the mid frequency ranges. And then also one for the higher frequency ranges. And this will range from -6 dB to about +6 dB on both of those. You'll also notice a 3-position switch for low cutoff. So in this position, we have flat. So in that regard, you'll have all of your frequency ranges from 20 all the way down to about 70 hertz, which is the low end frequency spectrum for the speaker. And then also you have an 80 hertz cut and then a 100 hertz cut. So you may want to use that cut if you're maybe perhaps using the Eris 4.5s in conjunction with a subwoofer, or maybe you just don't need as much bass in your speakers. Also, the Eris provides another 3-way switch for acoustic space. This is actually a feature you'll find on a lot of higher-end speakers, but we offer it here on this Eris 4.5 speaker. So you have a -4 dB cut here, and this is generally you would want to use this position when you have your Eris monitors perhaps in the corner of your room or your desk space where bass will tend to build up. So you'll want to use that to kind of cut or attenuate some of the bass frequency responses. You also have a -2 dB cut, and you'll want to use that when you're not necessarily in the corner, but you have the speakers maybe up against the wall. And then third, for most applications, you would probably want it at the 0 dB position if you have your monitors away from the wall and not in the corner. And so in that regard, you'll have a full frequency range of the studio monitor without any attenuation. Okay? And then also you notice we have a plug here for power, and it's only located on the active speaker. All right? So that's about it for the Eris 4.5 features. Let's go ahead and look at the Temblor T10. So the Temblor T10, when you first look at it, you'll notice it has this nice grill on the front, and that's to protect the low frequency driver. You also notice a front-facing bass port, and that'll the frequency range of this speaker is about 200 hertz all the way down to 20 hertz. You also notice that there's this nice PreSonus logo, which is illuminated. Now this logo actually serves two purposes. One, to indicate that the speaker is powered, and then also it'll indicate when the speaker is bypassed. Now we'll come back to that later to show you how that works. I'm going to go ahead and flip the speaker around here so we can see the back panel. On the back side of the Temblor, we have some input and output options. So you notice we have a dual pair of balanced XLR inputs, balanced 1/4-inch TRS inputs, and then also unbalanced RCA inputs. Going over to the output side, you'll notice that we also have a pair of right and left balanced XLR outputs, and then also TRS outputs. So the way this would work in your speaker system, from your audio interface, or maybe even from your mixer, you would go out of your main outs or your control room outs into the input section of the subwoofer, left and right. And then on the output side, you would want to come out of there and plug into your main studio monitors, your Erises or your Scepters. And so that feeds the left and right channels of your mixer or your audio interface. You'll also notice a third option or output here. It's a balanced Xlr Out. And this is for daisy chaining a sub. So this is basically a pass-through. So whatever comes in gets passed through the sub unfiltered and will come out here, so that in maybe a larger studio setting, you would want to connect, have two subs, so you would have a two-sub configuration. You would connect this output here to the input of the other Temblor T10 sub. All right, so let's look at some of the controls that the Temblor offers. Up here in the upper left, you'll notice a input gain knob, and it's variable. Variable from minus 30 dB to plus 6 dB with unity gain right there in the center. Now you want to make use of this when you actually calibrate your studio monitor system. You want to make sure that the Temblor is outputting the same SPL level as your main studio monitors. And so you want to go through a guide of calibrating your studio monitors and adjusting the input gain here so that you get the same output from your main studio monitors in your Temblor T10 sub. All right. On the right side, you'll notice a low pass filter, and this is also variable. This acts actually as a crossover so that you can select the frequency that you want the sub to resonate at between your main studio monitors and the sub. So by selecting, maybe you have some options that are already written here. So all the way left is 50 hertz. Then we have 60 hertz, 80 hertz, 100 hertz, and 130 hertz. So say we picked 80 hertz. At that point, that's when it'll be a low pass filter where the sub will resonate more at 80 hertz and below, and then your main studio monitors will be active at 80 hertz and above. So your main studio monitors will take over and handle all of the higher and mid frequencies, while the Temblor will handle most of the low frequencies. And then you'll also want to use that in conjunction with this nifty little switch here that you may not find on a lot of other subs at this price point. And this is a high pass filter option. So most subs, they probably have this option already on by default, and you cannot turn it off. And what that means is that once you set this crossover, you are actually applying a high pass filter out to your main studio monitors. So at 80 hertz here, for example, now your main studio monitors will only respond at 80 hertz and above. But we also have this option where we can turn that high pass filter off. And so now, even though the sub is responding at 80 hertz, your main studio monitors will now be full range. So whatever range of frequencies that your main studio monitors work at, that's what you'll hear. So it's great to actually have that option now in the subwoofer. Also, you note some other features here, some other switches here. There's a phase switch. So you can actually flip the phase of the subwoofer 180 degrees. And you want to use that, again, when you calibrate your monitor system, so that you make sure that both your main studio monitors and your subwoofer are fluctuating or moving in sync and in phase. That'll make a great difference in the sound of your total monitoring system from top to bottom. So you want to make use of the phase inversion switch there. Then also we have a ground lift switch. Now that's important for situations where you may have some ground hum or a ground loop or some noise in your audio system. This will actually help remove that noise out of there. Okay? And then also, there's one other TRS port that I just kind of passed over, but this is actually a sub-bypass Footswitch jack. So you can actually plug in a latching Footswitch, and what that'll do is once you engage that Footswitch, it'll actually bypass the sub. So For instance, you want to hear only your studio monitors. Well, you would flip your switch, and now your sub is bypassed. But when you do want to hear your sub, then you flip the switch again so that your sub is not bypassed, and now your sub kicks in. And the great thing about the T10 is that we actually include a latching foot switch. Now in Louisiana, this is what we call lanyap, and that's basically something extra. We kind of throw that in for you. So you don't have to go ahead and buy that. So I'm going to show you exactly how that works. Like I mentioned before, there's this nice PreSonus logo on the front that illuminates to show you that it's powered, but it also will show you when the sub is being bypassed. So let's go ahead and plug our foot switch in. And if we look at the logo here, we see that the sub is powered. And because it's blue, that means that it's not being bypassed. So at this point, we would be hearing our sub. Now, when we go ahead and engage the foot switch, you'll see now the logo is flashing blue and red. So that's a very good feature to give you a visual indicator of whether your sub is actually on or not. Very nifty. So that's an overview of both the Eris 4.5 speaker and the Temblor T10 speaker subwoofer. The Eris 4.5, very compact, smaller version of our Eris line of studio monitors, but also offers the quality and performance found in the Eris E8 and E5 speakers. It's very suitable for the home studio recorders, project studio, and also for non-audio applications just as a desktop speaker system, given all of its features and handy and very convenient features like the power switch on the front, the volume knob on the front, as well as a phone jack and an aux in right there on the front. The Temblor T10, great sub, the 10-inch subwoofer, gives you nice, tight, punchy bass. Lots of features that are very convenient for you that'll really just kind of add value to a package. You know, a lot of these features you will not find in another sub at this price point. So I think at this point we're going to be taking some questions. Okay, looks like there's a yes on that. So let's see what we have. So are these available now? Yes, both the Eris 4.5 monitors as well as the T10 sub are available now. You can go out, you can test drive them in the store if you want, or just purchase them online. Where should I place the sub? Very good question. That's something you really have to judge from the type of room that you're in. Some people like to place the sub underneath their desk. Some people like to place it off center. There are many guides out there, as well as I think there are a couple of PreSonus videos that actually talk about this, calibrating your monitor system. So go ahead and look that up, and that'll kind of walk you through calibrating your total monitor system and where you want to place your sub. There's a question, is it TRS or RC, or are they combined? I'm not sure if that's for the T10 or the Eris 4.5. On the Eris, the TRS and the RCA, I think they may some. I know the 1/8-inch input on the front will some, so you can hear both what's coming through the TRS or the RCA and the 1/8-inch input on the front on the Eris. On the T10, you may not want to do that necessarily. You may want to just use either XLR, TRS, or the RCA inputs. All right. If you have any more questions, please send us an email at education@presonus.com. We'll be more than glad to, or more than happy to answer any questions that you may have about either one of these great products. And I think that's going to be it. Thanks for tuning in to PreSonus Live. Again, go ahead and check out the Eris 4.5 studio monitor and the Temblor T10 Active Studio Subwoofer.